Yeah, so I'd read it 3.5 times, and reading this book 3.5 times, Think and Go Rich, I realized its value, and I'd committed to read it every year, and I had slacked off. And one of the key things about this is not just to just read it and put it down, it's to read it and do the information that's in here. And I had gotten to the point where I realized how important it is to do what we read. So some of you might remember that we went through the chapter of desire. Mark, do you remember when we went over the chapter of desire, right? Are you there, Mark? Unmute. I know you've been on here almost every time, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, you remember we went over the chapter on desire, right?
Yes, we did desire.
Right. And we spoke and in the book and the chapter on desire, there are 6 steps to accomplishing any goal, right? Do you remember those 6 steps of accomplishing any goal? Those 6 steps of accomplishing any goal. Do you remember those 6 steps, Mark? The 6 steps of accomplishing any goal.
Well, one, you need to have a clear picture in your mind that you could put on paper of exactly what it is you wish for. Morning. Right.
All right. So the 6. All right. So firstly, welcome, Kevin. All right. So in September, I ordered a copy of this book, right? In September, I ordered a copy of this book, Think and Go Rich. And I spoke to us about reading it, about going through it, and we have been studying it, and we've been going through chapter by chapter, and we've been doing that now since we started. We're now on chapter 8, or I'm on chapter 8. I know some of you haven't really read chapter 8 or 9, I think it is, right? Because I read it this morning. Persistence, right, which is chapter 9. Okay, so I've gotten to chapter 9. Well, chapter 2, which gave us a very clear instruction. Chapter 2 gave us a very clear instruction, right? Chapter 2 gave us a very clear instruction. So a couple of things. I know, Kevin, you were not part of the process, but Mark was, Annette was, Ryan came in a little bit late. Abigail should be joining us here. I'm not sure if some people are having technical challenges, because she tried calling me on my phone. Let me see why she's not on with us. But anyway, getting a copy of this book and reading it is really very, very, very important, right? But not just reading the book, because I kept saying over and over again, we need to do the book. We need to do the book. We need to do the book and not read the book. And a lot of us, what happens is that we only read information. We do not do the information. And, Mark, when did you say you were going to write down your goals? Because we're gonna when did which Monday did you commit that you're going to have it done by which Monday?
Tuesday, the 1st of November.
Tuesday, the 1st of November. You said you're going to have them written down. And we're November 16th, and they're still being written, right? They haven't gotten done. All right, so hopefully after today, that's going to change, right? So when we got into chapter 2 speaks about 6 steps. Right, 6 steps that we can, 6 steps, right? 6 simple steps that we can use to achieve any goal. So step 1, right? And you'll remember this, Mark. Step 1 was step 1 is to identify how much you want. That's step 1. We have to identify how much you want. That's step 1. Or any goal. It doesn't have to be money, but we have to identify what it is that we want. That's step 1. Step 2 is to what are you going to give in return for it? What are you going to share in return for it, right? And then step 3 is by what date? By what date? So you have to identify the date that you want to achieve the goal. And then step 4 is to write out step 1, 2, 3, 4 as a plan, and then repeat that as step number 5 is to write a paragraph, right, of the step 1, 2, 3, 4. So first one is what do you want, right? Identify what do you want. That's the 1, all right? So I have to identify what it is that we want. The step 2 is that after you've identified what you want, what are you going to give to receive it? And then step 3 is what is your plan to achieve it? And then step 4 is to write out all of that, right? Step 4 is to write out all of that. And then once you've written out all of that, put it in a paragraph, right? Write out your plan at step 4. And then step 5 is to write it in a paragraph. If you guys go to the book, if you have your copy, you can go online and find it, or you could go download the free copy I sent you guys. And then step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Step 1 is to identify what it is that you want. Step 2, what are you going to give to receive it? Step 3, you have to get a date that you want to receive it by. Step 4, what is the plan? Step 5, you're going to write out a paragraph of steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, write out a paragraph. And then step 6 is to repeat it to yourself in the morning and in the night. All right, some of us remember those 6 steps. You see, I know them by heart. 1, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve in terms of money? 2, what are you going to give to receive it? 3, what is your plan? What is your date to achieve this goal by? 4, what is the plan that you're going to design to achieve this goal? And then 5 is to write out steps 1, 2, 3, 4 in a paragraph. And then step 6 is to repeat this to yourself in the morning and to repeat it to yourself in the evening. All right. Those are the 6 steps to achieve any goal. And then Mark, do you remember, Annette, do you remember when I wrote down I showed you guys these affirmation cards and I told you that I wrote down my statement. First, I wrote down my statement. I showed you guys my statement. Do you remember that, Mark? Do you remember that, Annette?
Yes, sir.
Right. All right. And do you remember when I wrote down these goals, right? And I asked you guys, Mark or Annette, you got unmute and share. And I asked you to all do the same thing. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share with you a goal that is written down on one of the cards, right? I enlarged it to make it easier for us to be able to all see it. And then I want you guys to read it so that you can actually see that, right? All right. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to share my screen right now. All right, man, I'm so fired up, right? Wait a second, where is it? All right. If you could unmute for me, SH and GN means so happy and grateful now, right? That's what that means. But if you could go ahead for me, Mark, and just unmute and read what's on here.
All right, give me 2 minutes. Let me grab my glasses. I need to grab my glasses.
Okay. Annette, can you read it? Or Ryan?
Yes. I am so happy and grateful that I have a 1-bedroom apartment in Houston, Texas, close to the Hyatt Regency for a Xtreme. What's something?
Xtreamfx convention.
Invention in January 2023 by December 1st, 2022, that costs less than $500 US
per month.
Per month and
and includes
not seeing to the end there,
washer and dryer,
fridge and stove.
All right, thank you for reading that, right? Thank you for reading that. All right, so here's the beautiful thing about this, right? So I wrote this down, and when you go online and you look for an apartment in Houston, they're generally about $1,200 to $1,600 a month, right? If you go online and look for them, okay? So that's the first thing. Now, the next thing is that I wrote this down, not knowing if it was going to be possible or not knowing how this was going to be achieved. Because first of all, less than $500 a month is you'd have to find somewhere in the very depressed neighborhoods, right? To be able to have an apartment anywhere close to that. But if you go online and you search for it, you can't even find them. All right, so that's one. And if you ask a realtor, you're asking a real estate person, can I find an apartment for $500 a month? They'll tell you no, because I need to be there for at least 3 months, before the going into the convention, December and January, that's 2 months, and at least a month after, to be able to make good use of the convention and to go to Texas and Houston and then be able to meet people, connect with people, talk to people before the convention, so that I could build up a group of people over there to come to the convention, and then we can grow in a big way, right? That's my plan. But I needed somewhere to stay. So, where I'm staying now in Atlanta, by the end of this month, I really had gotten some grace to be here for this long. And the end of this month is when I really needed to move on. And ladies and gentlemen, when I wrote this goal down, last week I got a nudge to call a relative of mine who lives in Houston. I remember that one of my relatives lives there. In fact, he's the sister of my wife, right? And her husband. They live in Houston. So I remember that they live over there. And I call him up and say, you know what, Derek, I need to be in Houston for the convention. I'm going to be there for a few months, and I really needed somewhere to stay. And I'm trying to, figure out, maybe you guys even have space. I don't know what's going on with your, where you guys are at. And he said, you know what, Harry, give me a couple of days to call you back, because what happened is that his son had gotten, his son is a big man now, but his son has gotten an apartment, his own apartment, and he's been paying the rent for it. But what happened is that his job moved him out of town recently, but he had the apartment and he had to keep paying the rent for it, because even though he was moved out of town. So the apartment is empty. Now, guess how many, somebody unmute and tell me, how many bedrooms you think the apartment has?
3 bedrooms.
In fact, it has 1.
2.
The apartment has 1 bedroom. Guess, do you believe it has a fridge and a stove and a washer and a dryer?
Yes.
It has.
Yes.
So the apartment that he has is a 1-bedroom apartment. It has a fridge, it has a stove, and it has a washer and a dryer. Okay? And so his dad spoke to him over the weekend, and I got a text message Sunday night that says, he's willing to help me out. I must connect with him on it. So when I called him and I spoke to him about it, and told him what I wanted to do and what I needed to achieve, and I said, so what would he need for me to contribute? And he said, all right, $300 a month. And I said, can I do $250? And he said, fine. Guys, I mean, when you look at that, right? Now, can you see, I've been repeating this in the morning when I get up in the morning, because I get up in the morning and one of the first things I do is that I go through and I repeat all of these goals on my cards, and I read my statement to myself in the morning and I read it in the night. And I said to you guys, I'm going to show you over time that these are going to be achieved, because I've been through this process before. It's not guesswork for me, right? This is how it works. What happens is that you have to program into your subconscious mind these goals, and then your subconscious mind will go ahead and get it done. You may not even know right now, how it's going to be done, because I didn't know how this was going to come to pass. Because if you Google it, just go online, and in fact, the rent for the apartment, guess how much his rent is? Somebody unmute and tell me, because I mentioned to you the price range. Somebody unmute and tell me, how much do you think the rent for that apartment is?
$750.
500.
1,000.
He's paying $1,370 a month. So now, question. How would I have known that there is a relative of mine, a nephew, right, who actually has a 1-bedroom apartment that he has moved out because of a job, and he would be willing to give it to me for $250 a month? How would I have known that? Somebody unmute and tell me, could I have even known that? Unmute and tell me. Come on, talk to me, guys. No, right? So I wouldn't even know who to call. I wouldn't even know who to connect with for that to open. But what did I do that helped to create, give, because I followed the principles, right? I wrote down the goal and I repeated it to myself in the morning and I repeated it to myself in the night. I repeated it in the morning and I repeated it in the night. Every morning I got up, not just this goal, but there are other goals here, which I won't even mention yet, but you're going to see those goals come to pass because that's the principle of it. You see, it says, I am so happy and grateful now. The N stands for now. So I've trained on this before. I am so happy and grateful now, right? Because the now is important because the now means it has already happened, right? I don't know, Kevin, your network kicked you off, but let me just take us back a little bit. Mark, do you remember when I wrote the goal down for the purposes of Kevin and Cindy and Moses that are joining us? Mark or Annette, do you remember when I wrote this goal down? Do you remember when I?
Yes, yes.
Right. It was early November, right? That I wrote the goal down. So what happens here is that I am so happy and grateful now that I have a 1-bedroom apartment. And the story that I just shared with you of calling for Kevin's purposes and Cindy's purposes, I felt the nudge last week, right? Because I needed to move from Atlanta where I'm at. You know, we're not from Atlanta, but I got grace to be where I am right now. And, you know, that was to the end of November. So I know I needed to get somewhere to move forward going into December. But because the convention came up in Houston, right? And Mark, you remember that we were supposed to be in Florida for the convention and it changed up to Houston.
Yes.
Right. And then so when it changed over to Houston, you know, and the opportunity came up, I said, well, you know, if I could be there early, it would be great. So I wrote this goal down, knowing that I needed somewhere that's affordable, that I could afford, right? But when I looked online for apartments, the apartments were $1,100 to $1,500 for a 1-bedroom apartment, right? So I looked online and I realized that, well, fine, I couldn't find any. But I didn't go and say, oh, well, you know what, we can't find anything for that price. You know, let me forget about going to Houston. Let me look for something. You know, I went ahead and I wrote down the goal. So I wrote down the goal, not knowing how it was going to happen. I am so happy and grateful now that I have a 1-bedroom apartment in Houston, Texas, close to the Hyatt Regency for Xtreamfx convention in January 2023. By December 1st, 2022, that costs less than $500 a month and includes washer and dryer, fridge and stove. I wrote this down about the 6th of November, right after the convention, and they released the date of the event. Now, once I wrote the goal down, what's the next? Well, remember, there are 6 steps to any goal being accomplished, right? 6 steps. You have to repeat the goal in the morning and in the night. So get up in the morning. When you get up, have it written down on your goal cards. You have to have your goals written down on cards like these, and repeat it in the morning or repeat it in the night. So last week I got a nudge, and here's a tip. When you get these nudges from your spirit, from your soul, act on them. Either you could call this person, talk to this person, go and do that, go and do this. You have to trust your inner guidance because you're going to get nudges and guidance from your creator, nudging you to go out and do what you're supposed to do to accomplish your goal, right? You're going to get some guidance on that, but you have to act on it. So when I got the nudge to call my brother-in-law, which is my wife's sister's husband, I remembered, oh, you know, they live in Houston. And when I remember that they lived in Houston, the nudge says, call him. So I called him and I told him what I needed to do. And he said, Harry, don't worry. You know, you need to be I'll get back to you. I think I have a plan. All right. When he called me back, he said his son has a 1-bedroom apartment. that his son just got a new job, a promotion, and it moved him out of Houston to another state. So his son's apartment is vacant. And when I checked with his son, it was a 1-bedroom apartment. And as you see me wrote here, it includes washer, dryer, fridge, and stove. That's what I wrote because I wanted to make sure that I had somewhere to wash my clothes, so I didn't have to go out to wash my clothes. I wanted to make sure I had somewhere that I could put my food and cook my food so that I could function December and January and February to be able to build up momentum for the convention. Because if I work hard and I get 200 people into that convention, you guys know how much money we're going to earn as a team coming out of the convention. But I didn't have the resources to get these $1,000 apartments right now because, you know, I'm still building up. And ladies and gentlemen, here's it now where we got this, and I put $500 a month. You know, I was pushing my budget a bit because I didn't even want to be that high because I still have my family in Nigeria to take care of, plus being here to take advantage of building the business. So I needed to keep the cost down. So when I got the text message Sunday from, his name is Sam, from Sam's dad, he sent me the message and said, you know what, talk to Sam. He's going to try and help you. So when I spoke to Sam on Monday, and I, you know, was talking to him and asking, told him what I needed to do. I needed to be there for the convention. I want to build the business up, and, you know, we're still building up. So we're coming up. I said, so, you know, what would be my contribution? How much do I need to contribute? And he said $300. And I asked him if I can do $250. So notice that our creator gave me for $250 because I had something. What's the word that I had here? What's the word that you need to have here for something that you're hoping for to come to pass? Unmute and tell me, somebody. What's the word you need to have?
No.
Say that again.
Desire.
Desire. All right. Desire. One, you have a desire. So yes, the desire is needed. I know what I want. But what's the other word? What's the other word that you need to have for something that you desire to have happen, but you don't have any way of figuring out if it's going to happen or not? What's the word you need to have? Somebody
Believe.
Belief.
Belief.
All right. Yes, it stems from belief. There's another word I was looking for, but belief. Yes, faith. The faith. You have to have faith, because what happens is that you don't know all the details. Remember, I could not have known that I have a relative in Houston with a 1-bedroom apartment that has been transferred out of town. There's no way I could have known that. But does my subconscious mind know that? Answer me, somebody. Does my subconscious mind know everything that's happening in the world? Does my subconscious mind connected to the great creator of this magnificent universe? Does my subconscious mind know everything that's happening in the universe?
Yes.
Yes. So what I have to do is I have to inform my subconscious mind of what my goals are with faith that my subconscious mind is going to bring it to pass. Yes, Kevin, right? So here's the thing. This is this is a goal that's been manifested. And Mark, you were here when I said, look, I needed to go get back this book, Think and Grow Rich. You were here when I said to everybody, let's read this book together. You remember that, Mark? You remember that, Annette?
Correct.
Right. And we went through this chapter after chapter after chapter. And when we got to chapter 2, and I saw the 6 steps to accomplishing a goal, did I come back the following day with my statement written down? Yes or no, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And did I say to us that we need to read it in the morning and in the night? Tell
yes,
me, Mark.
at least, yes. And in the day too, yep.
Yeah. And I asked different people, did you go ahead and write out your goals? Did you write them down? Give yourself a commitment as to when you're gonna do that. And then in the process of us, we haven't even finished the book yet. We're in chapter 9. There are 15 chapters in here. And let me share with you, I read chapter on persistence this morning. And I want to share with you the first part, because this part here that I read this morning is so clear. What it says here is that, thing is right here, right? Yes. Let me read this part of the book, right? Your test of persistence. If you're following the book with the intention of applying the knowledge it conveys, your first test as to your persistence will come when you begin to follow the 6 steps described in the 2nd chapter. Let me read that again. It says here, if you are following the book with the intention of applying the knowledge it conveys, your first test as to your persistence will come when you begin to follow the 6 steps described in the 2nd chapter. Unless you're one of the 2 out of every 100 who already have a definite goal at which you are aiming and a definite plan for its attainment, you may read the instructions and then pass on with your daily routine and never comply with those instructions. I remember when I read this the first time I read the book, and I was like, wow, I didn't do those things that he said in chapter 2, and I'm all the way at chapter 9. But this time around, guys, when I read it, I knew that I needed to write this down. I knew that I needed to get my goals written down. I know, you've seen me. I showed you the other day the house with the boat at the back that I'm visualizing. And I told you that I'm seeing my children running around in the house and we're having the house opening. Those things that I'm saying to you, you're going to see that materialize. You're going to see it happen with your own 2 eyes. You're going to see that happen and you're going to hear about it. Because that's how the law works. This is not guesswork or hope, This is, if you can't realize from this example that this is authentic, because Mark, you are here. Annette, you are here. Ryan, you are here for part of the way. Cindy, you came to some of the classes and listened to some of these. And Kevin is here today. And I bet you, I know that Mr. Kevin Ade, he's going to get back his go-karts like right away. Because I know Kevin uses these, or may have been using them in the past, but sometimes we can drop off the wagon. Because as a trainer, I fell off the wagon of doing this, guys. I'm just being sincere with you. I should be doing this every day. This is not something you should do this week or not. This is something you have to do as a habit. So, and you have to continuously write down all the new goals. Check off the ones that you're going to achieve. I took us through a goal writing exercise on the 1st of November because I understand how important it is to have written goals. And if you have not, because you goal not, and here is a manifested goal that there's no way I could have known all of these things would have happened. And with faith, I wrote it down, I affirmed it, I declared it, I announced it. And guys, I'm buying my ticket tomorrow to fly from Atlanta to Houston on December 1. December 1. So December 1st, 2022, $250, 1 bedroom, washer, dryer, fridge, and stove. Come on now. Give me a hallelujah. Give me an amen. Give me something, guys. Unmute and tell me if this is, if you feel excited about the fact that this happened under your eyes. Go ahead, Kevin.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal, right? This is the real thing. This is not hype, guys.
Awesome.
It is. You have no idea how. Here's what happens, right? Here's what happens, guys. Our subconscious mind is our servant. It is our servant, but most of us, we don't recognize this. And what happens is that we allow our subconscious mind to be our master and just randomly say stuff to us. We do not understand that the subconscious mind needs to be programmed. We have to tell the subconscious mind what to do. If you do not give it very clear written instructions, it will not know what to do. And you can't write it and put it in. So the only way to do it is the what? Auto-suggestion. Do you guys remember the chapter on auto-suggestion? Do you remember chapter on it, on auto-suggestion? Do you remember the chapter, Ryan and Mark? We spoke about it. We did auto-suggestion. We went through the chapter. And man, I'm so excited about this because, I have known this for some time, but I wasn't consistent. That's the key. You can't do this week and not do it next week. You can't do it 2 weeks and then stop. It doesn't work. You have to get to the point where you're going to do it in absolute faith. You're going to do it with the emotion of love. You have to infuse when you're reading this, you have to say, I am so happy and grateful now that I have a one-bedroom apartment in Houston, Texas, close to the Hyatt Regency for Xtreamfx convention in January 2023 by December 2022 that costs less than $500 a month and includes washer and dryer, fridge, and stove. You have to do it with passion. You have to do it with excitement. And I'm not even going to tell you the rest of my goals yet, but I have some big goals written down on these cards. Because step by step, and remember, if you do not achieve a goal by a certain date, don't be upset. Just change the date of the goal. Keep pushing the date forward until the goal is realized. I've been through this, and man, you know, and I hope after today, guys, I hope after today that you go and read and do the book. Don't just read the information. Don't just go through the pages and, okay, this sounds good, it sounds really nice, and do not do what the book says. Because that's where a lot of people fall off the wagon. They do not do the book. They only say it, but they're not doing it. And here is a living manifestation right under your eyes, Mark. Mark, let me ask you now, Mark and Annette and Ryan, right, and Cindy, when are you going to go ahead and write down your goals on your goal cards? Let me start with you, Mark, because you told me you gave me a date already.
Today.
When are you going to do yours, Annette? Right? Annette, when are you going to do yours? Let me hear.
So I'll finish up. I started, so I'm going to finish it up today.
You're going to finish it today. When are you going to do yours, Ryan?
Mine has already done even before I joined the business.
Have you been reading them in the morning and in the night?
Yes, I've been doing that in the morning, not early in the night. I've been doing them in the morning.
All right, great. I'm going to tell you why you should do it in the early morning and in the night. What happens is that our subconscious mind is much more open to the suggestion when you just wake up, not immediately as you wake up. You should do it because you should do meditation and stuff first. And in the night before you go to bed, it's more receptive because during the day, you're busy. The mind is not as receptive as in the morning when you get up and in the night just before you go to bed. That's the two most receptive times, right? And then Cindy, when are you gonna finish yours? Do you have yours written down already?
Yes. Well, there's some additional stuff to do, like with the now and the appointed time and so forth. But it's coming through. Trust me. By the 1st of December, I should be okay.
All right, wonderful. So you have to write them down and repeat them over and over and over again. Remember, you have to write, I'm so happy and grateful. Now, I just abbreviated it rather than writing out those words, but I'm so happy and grateful now. And then that I have whatever it is you're asking for, right? It could be money, it could be a goal that you're going to achieve. And you know where, and you need details. You need to be descriptive. You know, it's close to this place. So I'm just about, I think I'm a few minutes away because I was checking the address. I'm not that far away from it, right? In January 2023, by December 1st, 2022, I got it on the exact date I needed to get it on. I got the one bedroom I need. I got the stove. I got the fridge. I got the washer, the dryer. All of that, guys, is included in it. And I got it for half of what I had set. So our creator went above and beyond my expectations. And it's a $1,370 apartment for $250 a month. You cannot beat that. You cannot find that online. You cannot go and Google that. No matter how hard you search, you couldn't find it, ladies and gentlemen. But if you follow these principles, I'm telling you, because I know this stuff is not, these are principles. This is how our creator functions. If you abide by these principles and you apply these principles, I'm telling you, it's game on, right? All right. So Kevin, any comments from you, my brother? Because I know you know this stuff, right? Any comments? And then Moses, do you have any comments surrounding that? Any questions, any comments from anybody? Moses, hey, my friend, Moses Uchebu. my brother. We're talking about a goal that I manifested here. And a lot of people teach about manifestation, which is great. But in terms of what we need to do is to do it. Go ahead, Kevin. You're about to speak. Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Dr. Benjamin. I actually learned this about 5 years ago, and I've been doing it. In fact, as a matter of fact, the home I'm living right now, the home I have now, that was how I got it, through manifestation, affirmation, through my daily affirmation. Though for some time now, I've not been consistent with it, but I think by reading, going back to this book, Think and Grow Rich, it will help me to align myself with the rules and take it up again, because I have a major goal, and which I believe is going to be coming up. It's going to be manifesting soonest.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you for that, Kevin. Thank you for that confirmation of the power of the content. Because here's the thing, guys, a lot of other teachings and trainings and books came about because of this book. A lot of the other trainers that you hear out there being popular today is because of this book. This is the foundation book when it comes to understanding the principles of success and understanding manifesting our dreams and goals. This is the foundation of it. And I slacked off, Ken. I slacked off big time, because I promised myself I was going to read this once a year. And you guys have seen how fervently I've read it, because I'm on chapter 9. And I know some of you haven't even started reading it yet. And I'm grateful that you've started. And some that were in the class, fell out of the class, not understanding how powerful what we is, because they couldn't keep up with reading. And, I insisted that we have to read it and we have to do the book. I'm really grateful, man. And then 6 months from now, as I said, what I'm going to do 6 months from now is that I'm going to go back through this again with the group. I'm going to go, as we build our group and our group expands and grows and develops. In 6 months from now, I've already set the date for that. We're going to go back through the book again. We're going to read it together, and it's going to have a much more impactful process. And over the next 3 years, as we're building our organization, I'm going to do this book twice a year with the group, along with other books, because I mentioned to you that we need readers are leaders, and there are other books that we need to study. But this is the foundation of success principles. When you understand the principles here and apply them and do them, man, it's on. I know I could hear the conviction in your voice, Mark, about today, because a lot of times we come up with a lot of excuses as to why we don't do this. And it's so easy to drop out of the habit of reading these cards to ourselves every day, because sometimes you can feel like, oh, but I don't see anything happen here. I don't see that happen there. And congratulations, Kevin, on your home and manifesting your home and all the other goals that you're going to manifest, because you're just getting started. Once you understand, and I had to go back to a spiritual training that took place for me over the last few weeks, and it reminded me of the manifestor stage, because I've been in a space of being happy and joyful regardless of what's happening around us, and that can sometimes cause you to kind of just think things are going to work automatically. You have to do this, and another thing that he spoke about in the chapter on persistence, if you and I do not actively develop money consciousness or wealth consciousness or prosperity or working towards our dreams and our goals and our aspirations, if you and I are not doing that consistently, guess what happens? Poverty takes us over. Poverty is the default. If you and I are not working diligently and feverishly and fervently on accomplishing our goals, guess what? Poverty takes you over like a thief in the night. So that's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Man, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful for this. Thank you guys for showing up for this training. I know some people sent to me a message that they couldn't make for one reason or the other. But man, I'm fired up. I'm excited. I know that you guys are going to be sharing your testimonies about this very soon. You're going to have many testimonies about, your goals being accomplished, your dreams being accomplished. A lot of that's going to happen as we go forward. I know that you're going to have goals marked on it. Ryan, Kevin is already manifesting his. Cindy, Moses, you guys are going to have your goals written down, and you're going to be able to come and share, hey, this is my goal that I wrote down. And here's something about when you're saying them. You have to infuse it with faith, love, and the book spoke about the energy of sex. So you have to infuse your statement with faith and love. If you're not saying it with love and faith and that energy, it's not gonna get into your subconscious mind. You can't just say it, I'm so happy and grateful now that, you can't say it that way. You have to do it with love, with faith. You have to have faith, because I had faith, ladies and gentlemen, that this was gonna happen, and it's happened. And I have faith that every single one of my goals are gonna happen. Maybe they might not happen when I want them to happen, but I have faith that it will happen in due season, according to my Creator's design for them to happen. So with that said, guys, we'll have a powerful training coming on with Bridget Buckner, and she's going to be talking about the Legends Boardroom. And she would have been on here, but she had to prepare for her training. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm really grateful to each and every one of you for showing up here. Thank you, Mark, for going ahead and writing out your goals in advance. Annette, Brian, Moses, Cindy, and Kevin. I know you're gonna get back to affirming. And yes, Kevin, please go and read this again. Go and read this again. Go and read it cover to cover. We're on here. We come back Friday to do another chapter, because every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going over a chapter and really diving in and bringing it up and discussing it more and more. And I'm grateful to our Creator for the manifestation of this goal that was written during the process of reading this book. It was done as evidence that this information is authentic, it's powerful, but we have to do it. We can't just read it and hear it. We have to do it. And the evidence has just flooded itself in front of us in fine style for everybody to understand. Don't play around with this information. Take it seriously. Apply it to any area of your life, whether it's your health, your relationships, your business, your community goals, whatever it is. We all went over the goal setting already. All right. So guys, I love you guys. Really appreciate you for showing up. Thank you very much for being here. And you know how we roll. We always end with blessing one another. So we have to come off mute and find at least 5 names to say, I bless you and your life is magnificent. All right. I bless you, Annette, and you come on, let's all do it at the same time, man. We can all
bless you.
I bless you.
I bless you, Mark, and
your
your
life is magnificent. I bless you, Dr. Benjamin, and your life is magnificent. Bless you, Kevin, and your life is magnificent.
Bless you, Ryan, and your life is magnificent. I bless you, Cindy, and your life is magnificent. I bless you, Cindy, and your life is magnificent. Bless everyone.
Moses, and your life is magnificent.
I bless you, Achibu, and your life is magnificent.
Awesome.
Bless everyone.
All right.
Bless everyone, and their life are magnificent. Have a blessed day, everyone.
Yeah. Blessings to you.
All right. Blessings, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome, Kev.